Hello, Moody students. Welcome to week 3 of TH 3302, Method for Biblical Theology. We're in the week 3. You've gotten through 2 weeks unscathed, I trust. Let me encourage you as you begin this week to take note of the devotional thoughts I placed there for you with regard to Abraham's faith. I think you'll find it interesting and encouraging. If you have any questions about that after you've read it, feel free to email me, or if you'd like, even call me. But now let's get on with the coursework. This week you're going to be moving toward a theological method. And that's going to be interesting for me because in my PhD work I had to take a course called Advanced Seminar in Theological Method. So I'm looking forward to seeing your work in this and coming weeks. Our objectives this week are 2. We're going to compare and contrast the various theological methods and philosophies, and we're going to compose a preliminary statement of theological method. The overall work for the week looks a bit lighter, perhaps, in other weeks, but don't assume that. There's a fairly good amount of reading. There's 32 pages in getting started in our course textbook by Van Hoosier, Faith, Speaking, Understanding. You're going to read the introduction in accordance with the scriptures. So you got 32 pages there. You've got 27 pages of Green and a fair amount of pages from Kaiser. So read these over carefully. Do your best to comprehend them as thoroughly as you can. But you've got 32, almost 60, and another 30 pages. So you got about 90 pages all told. Very doable. Quite often in some of my reading, I'm reading that many pages a day. So I'm sure that in the course of the week in this assignment, you can get that done. Then you've got another chart to put together, and be sure it is a chart. Some of you are doing quite well on this. Others are finding it a bit challenging. But with Microsoft Word, you've got some tools in there you need to learn to use and make that job relatively simple. But do a good job on this. These are things you'll be able to use. And as you compose that chart, assume you're making it for someone who doesn't have any understanding of the topic. And with this chart, you want to bring them to your level of understanding, or where you think you should be understanding the course at this point. But give it your best. And then in your discussion board, let me mention again that you need to demonstrate in the discussion board both good critical thinking and effective communication skills. Now, what do I mean by those two terms? Well, good critical thinking involves demonstrating good analysis, good comprehension, just a good overall understanding of the material. But you do want to be analytical and critical in what you're looking at. Not critical in a negative sense, but critical in the sense that you're evaluating what you're reading. As far as good, effective communication skills, we're looking for proper spelling of words, accurate grammar, good word choices, those kinds of things. And when you reply to your peers, let me encourage you there to do 2 things. Again, all with good critical thinking and effective communication skills. But you want to both affirm your peer where they've done good work in their post, maybe some good insight that you see that they made, or they really challenged you in some specific way. And then secondly, you want to provide some kind critique of their post. What are the perceived weaknesses you see in what they've said? Are there some important things they seem to have left out or overlooked? What are some other ways that maybe you could constructively, kindly critique your peers' work? This is a matter of iron sharpening iron, as the Bible says, and you ought not take offense from your peers' replies to your post. But if you're all kind and constructive in this can be a tremendous learning help for each of you. Now, one word I used there in both what I said about your post and your replies to your peers' post is provide specifics. Generalities are not going to help any of us. So as you make statements in your post, be specific so we know what you're talking about. When you reply to your peers, in both your compliments and your critiques. Be specific, kind, constructive, concise, but specific. Well, there's some other things there you need to read in the printed version. I don't need to go through all of that again. Some of it I've put here in verbal form, here in the video. Want to take time to look down through that. If you have any questions, again, always feel free to email me, or if it's really pressing and necessary, definitely feel free to call me. You're out there working in isolated locations. I'm here grading isolated. And sometimes one or both of us could just use a good chat on the phone. So feel free to call if you need to. God bless. Look forward to seeing you next week.